Warning, this podcast contains brains.
Unspoil this.
All the spoilers.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for iZombie Season 1, Episode 1, Pilot. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my co-host, Nikki.
Hey.
And Kim, aka B. How's it going?
Good.
It's going good, alright. Good and alright. Yeah.
It's going good, alright? Good and alright?
Good, alright.
Good, alright.
Yes.
Great.
Oh.
Great.
Great. That's what great means. Good and alright. It's
Yeah.
going great. So, yeah. What'd you guys think of iZombie?
I'll go last because I'm more winded with this one.
Oh.
Okay. Ooh.
Ooh. She's got bad wind.
Well, at first I didn't know if I was gonna like it because I was like, oh, okay, well I'm gonna sit here, and then because it really I know that it's a plot episode, and I'm like, okay, so it's gonna try to just shove out information at first, but literally my first thought process was like, wow, that escalated quickly, because it just goes, oh, my life is perfect, I'm good, and then I'm gonna go to this party, but I don't party, and then it's I'm a zombie.
That's exactly how it happened.
Yep, that's that's exactly what. That's it. That's exactly it.
That's exactly her voice through the whole process too.
Yeah. It was and then we even got like a flashback within the episode of more of the party. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to get that, like every little bit we're just going to get like little tidbits of what happened at that party, if it's going to escalate like more and more and more, or they kind of explained what had happened, but I'm just thinking for more plot points of like, oh, this person's still alive, now we're going to go back at the party and see what this person was doing at the party, kind of, I don't know.
That makes sense. I mean, they kind of did that for the one guy, and then boom.
Yeah, Blaine.
Well, he's gonna be isn't he gonna be what it seems like he's gonna be a main character? It's gonna be like the maybe evil.
Yeah.
Like what?
His name is Blaine. He's a drug dealer turned zombie whose experimental drug caused the zombie outbreak. So he's directly responsible for this.
Utopium.
Yes, Utopium. That sounds wonderful.
It does. It sounds absolutely amazing. I take that shit just because it sounds nice.
I want it.
But obviously
pretty.
it's not very nice.
They don't know that at first. Everything explodes, literally.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think the drug itself exploded.
No, like the boat.
The boat.
Yeah.
That's why I was like that. Literally, that was my sitting there going, "Wow, okay, that was
boomed.
whoa."
They blew
and
everything in the first 15 minutes.
The zombie crawling up like the middle of the boat and the fire everywhere. It's like, wait, whoa.
Was that a zombie or was that just somebody trying to get away from the zombies?
I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. It looked like a zombie to me. I don't know. There was so much going on in that like one little like bit.
There was, yeah, there was a lot of chaos.
I did like that they did use like the comic stuff to like transition.
Kind of like Marvel does sometimes with
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too.
Well, it's usually Marvel just now anyway. They do it in the title screen. But if you go back to their very first big giant failure of a movie, which was the first Incredible Hulk, they did a lot of that, and they did like comic book panels, and like all of a sudden this guy would be talking, and then he'd like shift up, and then you'd see like another panel of something else, and then it was really awkward. And Marvel obviously got rid of that really quickly because that was the only movie it was in.
The way Marvel did it, though, it kind of broke up the scenes, whereas they're only introducing this comic book Flash at the beginning of a scene.
Right,
So,
right.
and then it fades in, and
it's especially prominent from coming back from the commercial breaks.
yeah.
So, which is really cool. And yeah, I don't know. I like the fact that this is based off a comic. But Nikki, you had what was your opinion on this? Because you're tying me to another show.
Well, I mean, to me, for someone who's actually watched the other show, it does seem very similar in some respects. Like, what the show I'm talking about is True Calling, which came out in 2003. It had Alicia Dushku in it and Zach Galifianakis. They were the main characters. And you see a lot of similarities, like, you know, Alicia's character, she was a medical student. She was just working in the morgue, and then she basically, she talks to dead people, and she finds out how they died. She goes back in time, which is the different part, and she saves them or whatever. I mean, that's where I see the similarities. I mean, the morgue director, Zach Galifianakis, he's very socially awkward. We find out that her, what's her name? I am horrible with this show.
The main character?
Yeah, Liv, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Olivia.
Well, we know that her morgue director, is very socially awkward too, and that's, like, there are connections that are the same. They just seem the same. So I looked back, and True Calling came out in 2003, like I said, and then iZombie started the writing and publication stuff in 2010. So I was like, but I mean, there are big differences. I mean, there's a zombie. She eats brains, and she gets the visions. It's not like going back in time and fixing things. I mean, that's so Doctor Who.
Right, and there's a lot more to the comic, too, which they have not introduced yet. There's a ghost and a were-terrier, and, you know, there's all kinds of stuff that, and, you know, that's coming. I don't know, I can't say for sure it's coming to the TV show, because the TV show is loosely based on the comic, so they may not use any of that. If they do, though, this show is only a 12-episode show, I believe.
13?
13?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
13.
like, it's a full series, but it's not like the full series that a lot of us are used to, of like 22 shows.
Basically, they're testing the water with their toes. Because this whole zombie thing, I don't know, I think it's kind of winding down. I mean, we still have The Walking Dead, but that's apocalyptic, and that is
this
dark.
is more of a humor kind of...
This is humor, and this is more of a, you know, episodic crime scene thing, you know. Yeah. But, I mean, they are testing the water, and I'm hoping that it does all right, because I did enjoy True Calling, and if this is similar in some way, just throwing the zombie aspect in it, which, you know, not exactly my favorite thing, but it's working. It's working.
Yep. There's only 28 issues of the comic, and they announced back in 2012 that it was going to end on the 28th comic, but it was announced on April Fool's Day, so a lot of people didn't take that well.
Yeah.
So I could understand where the announcement would be like, oh yeah, that's not whatever. But here it is 3 years later, and it is in fact ended on issue 28. So there are literally only 28 comics for this series. So it's not like this comic is still running.
It's probably why they're loosely basing it off of that. It's because just in case they want to go for like their 10th season.
Exactly.
Maybe.
I don't see this show exactly going 10 seasons.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, this is probably a 4 or 5 season show. If it gets by the first, it's on the CW. The CW is really good about letting shows go.
Yeah.
Like run. I don't mean like letting them go as in like killing them off. But I mean, how long did One Tree Hill last? That
I don't even know. Who watched that?
That's my point. That is my point. So, you know, they're more receptive to keeping shows around. Nah, there was a huge following for One Tree Hill. It just wasn't my style, but
yeah.
Well, it really depended on where they're going to take it. Like, how would they, you know, obviously once you get past what's going on in the comics, you know, how do they continue the story? Then, you know, how they go, oh, well, we're going to try to implement this and this and this and this, and that's what's going to become the thing.
Also already, you know, threw out that, you know, the morgue director is possibly coming up with a cure for her, and she's very, very hopeful. So, I mean, if they're already throwing that at us, it's they're bringing more ugly things in so that doesn't happen, because they're going to need her abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they could very loosely, they could follow one episode or one issue of the comic and stretch that out for an entire season if they wanted to.
They really could.
I mean, I haven't read the comics myself personally, So I don't know exactly how far, like, the first comic followed the first episode, or anything like that. So I don't know. I went into the show going, this is a ridiculous premise. Right? I was like, we have this zombie lady working for the police department, eating dead people's brains, and then finding out how they died. This is ridiculous.
With ramen and hot sauce.
Exactly. Who eats ramen and hot sauce?
I really...
She does?
Yeah. I was entertained by the fact that it was all of this that she had to eat with the hot sauce, and then she was drinking the hot sauce at one point, just like a beer, and I'm like,
no,
like, this is the only way I can taste anything, and I'm like, wow, that's okay.
Yeah.
Different.
See, when I first got like wind of this, they didn't make it sound like it was a secret. I mean, it made it seem like she was working for the police,
right?
And they knew about her being a zombie, but that's not the case.
So
it's very secret.
What I feel this also pulled a little bit from is this feels like Psych to me as well. Like it's very reminiscent of that, because you had in Psych, you had Sean pretending to be a psychic for the police department, and the police had no clue that he was a fake. They thought he was a legit psychic. Yeah. So now she's playing off the fact that she's a psychic. So I mean, it's very similar in that regard as well. And I really like that premise on Psych, and I like to see how far they push it. And Sean Spencer, whatever, I forget the actor now, I can't think of it off the top of my head, that played that. He was just like this over the top character, and I loved him. And Olivia is not exactly over the top. She's very like mellow, kind of moody. But then when she starts getting these flashbacks, it's not only is she getting the memories, she's kind of retaining some of their traits,
their feelings, and their
Russian
traits.
Yeah.
You started speaking Russian.
No, it was Ukrainian, Romanian.
Oh, Romanian. You're right. I thought it was Russian.
Yeah, she was speaking.
It was an
vampire.
alien.
She was speaking vampire.
Yeah, there you go.
That's horrible. Sorry.
But and on top of that, she was picking up like her kleptomania, from the girl and stuff like that.
Right.
But when you see her like taking on these other qualities, you could tell like she was a much different, more vibrant character. And the really cool part about this is every episode she's going to have a different personality while kind of retaining her core. But it's going to be like some new kind of trait that she picks up every week, which is going to kind of keep that character fresh and interesting. Because if you're like, oh, I didn't like the way she was acting this episode, well, she's going to be somebody else next time, so.
Yeah, I mean, for people who come into the middle of the series, if that happens, I mean, they're going to be kind of confused as far as her personality, because they didn't really get the boost from this episode. But I mean, you should be watching from the beginning anyways. Come on. I liked how after she realized that she can actually do things, being a zombie, she can, live in quotation marks.
Live.
And,
because her name is Liv. Olivia.
Liv, her name. Liv, she's undead kind of thing. So, I mean, there's so many ways that could go right now. But, yeah, she learns that... she learns that she can actually do things and be happy about it, and not always have to be this I don't care gothic kind of emo thing going on.
Yeah, we start out as her dwelling on all of the things she lost, and then when you go through all the inner monologue, that she goes, "Oh, you know what? This is not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
I can actually, live and do good things, and this is not a bad thing." And she works with what was given her, pretty much.
I mean, she even tried to go back to her ex-fiance and try to mend things, but he has moved on.
He's moved on, and she kind of didn't want to get involved either. But that's kind of the zombie thing, and it's not just because she's a zombie, though. I mean, it is, but she feels like she can never have a meaningful relationship as a zombie. But it's also the fact that if she doesn't continue to eat brains, then she gets dumber and dumber and dumber.
She could accidentally scratch him and give him the zombles.
That's true too.
She's trying to protect him.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I like that we start to see her actually zombify a little bit.
Oh my god!
The red eyes, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat this guy's brain."
That's the part where I was like, I kind of like the show, and then I saw that, and I was like, if we see that all the freaking time, not all the time, but enough that
I want to see her lose control, where she like.
Oh, that yeah.
You know.
I want to see that. Because it was like it was invigorating, it was interesting, it was intriguing. There's I words, iZombie. I thought it was great. Okay, it was good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. That's what sold me. Her going crazy.
Her zombifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was good. It was good. I liked it. I did like the detective, Clive.
Yes.
He
he's very
transferred from Vice to Homicide right at the start of the episode, and he does not really believe she's a psychic at first. Then he's like, I kind of have no choice. He's basically playing Timothy Amundsen's role in Psych. Lassiter, Detective Lassiter. He's Detective Lassiter for all intents and purposes of this show.
Except he's not an ass.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Not yet.
He has sass.
He does have
Yeah,
sass.
he is sass.
He has sass.
I like the little nicknames. He saw like he was trying to make up nicknames. We did the little.
Yeah. What did you think about the medical examiner, Dr. Ravi?
Socially awkward.
Yeah.
Like a little creepy. Like he was super excited about this. Like, oh my god, you're a zombie. You know,
like you said, he worked for the CDC at one point, and he was like, zombies are gonna come, and he was very excited. He was just, and that's why they dropped him, is because he believed in zombies, basically. And now there's one right in front of him. She's not angry, she's not aggressive, she's like letting him do the test. He's very excited.
Yeah. I mean, he's the only one that knows right now, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did they explain how they knew each other?
The medical examiner and Liv?
Yeah.
Liv just started working there after she got zombified and dropped out of school.
And then she just told him, or?
Well, she changed. Well, she changed from being she changed residencies is what she was doing. She was resident as like a doctor.
Surgeon.
Yeah, and then she changed to resident with him being. It was like, oh, I'm closer to dead bodies and brains and stuff. So it's
he just noticed that when he had to do certain things for the police department going back to bodies. He noticed that brain mass was missing, so he went and checked all the bodies that she had been working on, and all of them were missing brain mass. So he just kind of connected the dots. I mean, he's already a fanatic when it comes to a zombie outbreak, so of course he's gonna believe it.
Yeah.
Like, haha, I told you so.
Yeah. He's gonna rub it in their faces.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm just gonna say, this is probably just me, but when David Anders, aka Blaine, was in this show, I didn't really watch much of the previews or any of that. I tried to stay away from, I wanted to go in fresh. I didn't really want to know much about the show. And then I saw David Anders, and I flipped out. I get mad. I love David Anders as an actor, but I get mad every time I see him. Because he's in every goddamn show that I watch. Everything. I can't get away from him. He's the doctor in Once Upon a Time. Right? He's in Heroes. He was on Warehouse 13. He's in House.
He was on Vampire Diaries.
He's on Arrow. He's on like everything that I watch. And
but he's a good actor.
He is a good actor, but it's just like every time I turn around, there he is. He's on the Vampire Diaries, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
he was.
I was like, are you kidding? He was Elena's father on the Vampire Diaries.
Yep.
And I was just like, I get so aggravated. Just like this cat is aggravated that I'm not picking it up. Come here.
Like, yeah.
I don't know. I actually, when I saw him, I was like, oh god, he's not going to be really that active, I don't think. He's going to be poking his head in every once or one episode here and there, but I mean...
They made it sound like he was actually going to be a big character.
Yeah.
So they just slowly, like, we're slowly introducing him, but yeah, it does sound like he's going to be a main...
He's on the main cast list. He's not on the recurring characters list, so yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, it's just...
I don't either. I just get aggravated when I see him for the first time, especially when I'm not expecting him. Because, like I said, every time I turn around, there he is.
Yeah, I almost didn't know if they were going to introduce him.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I really didn't think... I almost didn't think they were going to introduce him here. Don't you start!
Cats, dogs, zombies.
No.
The world is just crumbling.
Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
Sit. Okay.
So, yeah, but then we had some of the minor reoccurring characters that we had Liv's best friend and roommate Peyton. I didn't really care for her. I don't know what.
I didn't care for. I mean, her ex-fiance. He's a cool dude. He's just like, you know what? You're going through something. I'm gonna let you be. Her mom and her roommate are like up her ass.
Yeah.
Up her freaking ass. And I'm like, I'm gonna punch them for her.
Yeah, they think she has like PTSD.
Yeah. If she has PTSD, you do not approach a person like that.
Right.
You do not.
Right.
That's a big no.
Sometimes, like there was another later when she came back into this part again. I was like, what is the point of the scene? Why are you here? Why are you here?
The mother seems a little out there. I mean, there's clearly something wrong with your daughter. You can't tell. Like, you can't tell she's a zombie? Really? Like...
I'm trying to...
Your daughter's eating brains, and you think she has PTSD?
You think she has a vitamin D deficiency? Well, I mean, considering her skin's very pale, that would be almost legit, but...
Yeah.
Oh, and her hair's turned white.
Yeah.
Well, that's not, obviously something's bigger than, whatever.
Yeah. I mean... That's more than PTSD. That's like,
trauma.
Oh yeah, that is the sign of like
post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what PTSD means.
Something that I really liked that I really paid attention to was when she first pops out of the body bag. She isn't immediately that way. She's immediately bright white and the white hair that they transition. So it's like, oh, she's got one little strand.
She had a rogue strand.
Yeah. So I mean, I liked that it was like not right away. Like, oh, I'm obviously a zombie. It's obviously something transition.
Yeah. I mean, the bacteria, the virus, or whatever it was, slowly made her a zombie.
What do you guys think about the actual case that they dealt with?
It was interesting.
Was it a good opening case?
Double the fun on your birthday.
That was a good scene.
Yeah, it was an interesting case to throw her into because it was out there, and it did show that because what was your Tatiana?
Yes.
She was a klepto.
Yep.
It passed on, and that was one of the first things she kind of monologue, like, I don't know why I need a handful of red eyeballs, plastic eyeballs. I just don't know why. Mm-hmm. So you kind of get the inkling that she's taking on this person a little bit by little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I really liked it. I like the fact that they used the red for the kleptomania. Like, you could tell there wasn't a whole lot of red things. There's a lot of pale colors in here and done intentionally. And then the reds really stood out. So I'm wondering if that's going to be like a running theme, that they're going to do like everything that is altered. Like, obviously she's not going to be a kleptomania, but if, something else, if she's...
make it stand out from everything else.
Yeah, if it's going to be like the red stands out, like if she's attracted to something. Like, are they going to do that to red and all, like, she's attracted to the color red next time or something? I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of get the feeling that now that she realized what's going on and how she's going to be helpful to the police department and so forth, that she's going to start taking trophies. Because, she did take the snow globe with the red from...
She put it all back.
No. Not his.
She
not
kept
the snow globe.
She kept the snow globe. Everything else she put back.
Yeah.
She might start taking trophies as a reminder that she's doing good.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they have that little tidbit. Just I don't know. It's personal preference.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a very interesting case because, she really got to feel those very strong feelings and stuff, she had for that. And, it really motivated her. I don't know if every case is going to motivate her quite as strongly as that one, but they're going to be enough where she wants to save people,
Unless it's a person that is like a glutton and a slob and somebody who sits on their ass all the time and dies and she eats their brains.
Right.
Then she's just going to be double I don't give a fuck.
That's interesting. I'd like to see that they mix it up a little bit, that sometimes she does eat a brain that doesn't sit well, so that it's just, it goes... Like, what if she does, eat the brain of maybe a serial killer, and then she gets all, like, weird? I mean, it's just interesting to where that could go. That they're like,
yeah, because what if she eats the brain of the murderer, thinking it's the victim?
Yeah,
that might be a thing.
We don't exactly know how this is gonna function. Like, she could. What if she eats somebody's brain while they're alive? Like when she loses control and she kills someone.
Like the first guy that she
I kind of think it'll be like, like vampires who can't control their feeding. They just kind of go bonkers after that and can't stop.
Yeah, is she gonna start getting their flashbacks and memories and things and she's just gonna see herself killing the person over and over again?
Oh God! I mean, that is if she doesn't revert back, or if she does revert back. What if she eats a brain and she's aggressive and zombie-like for a lengthy amount of time because she has to wait for that to wear away?
Yeah.
That's actually very scary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that thought.
Yeah. I mean, there is the potential for a cure. So,
yeah.
I feel like they're going to introduce it more toward the last couple episodes is really give you that hope, because what better way to not know if the series is going to be renewed for a second season than to cure her at the end of it. I mean, there was only technically one series of the comics. So, that could be a thing that they start. And then depending on the ratings. The ratings, however, have been relatively pretty good. It's been, at the lowest, it was a 74% that I've seen, all the way up to the highest at 91%. And so, reviews are looking pretty good so far. Over a show that I thought was going to be ridiculous. When me and Nikki were discussing this 3 weeks ago, I want to say, you're like, this sounds like an anime.
It did sound like an anime, because I didn't really know much about it other than the few basic points that they threw out there. But hey, this is coming at you, and it's no, that sounds ridiculous. No, stop it.
Yeah.
Make it a cartoon and watch it.
Yeah.
Make it an anime. It'll work.
Yeah. I mean, I am watching some weird anime right now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's super crazy. So is this a show you guys plan on watching through the whole first season?
Oh, yeah.
At least?
I mean, I have so many ways of watching TV, not on TV. It makes it so easy for me to pick up a series and just go with it. I'm definitely going to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel that I will. It's piqued my interest, so I'm definitely going to be watching the next few episodes for now. I can't say that I'm for sure going to be oh yeah, because you never know when a show might just go. But
that happens, and we have to just bear. Just good.
Yeah.
Because it might get good again. That's the other thing. It's
it happens a lot. A show will start off really strong, and we love it. And then there's other ones that we just kind of tell right off the bat where we're eh. Yeah. Good example of this was Ravenswood.
Yeah.
Right, Ravenswood was a brand new show. It was a spin-off of Pretty Little Liars that was starting.
We were very excited.
That's why I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right, we were very into Pretty Little Liars when this was airing. And then we're okay, Ravenswood. And then they started introducing it into Pretty Little Liars and started giving you a background of this town. And we're oh my God, this place is awesome. It's a supernaturally feel. So we reviewed the first episode and we were just kind of it's okay. We expected a little bit more out of it. and then we watched the second episode. We're like, we're really not feeling this. So, we cut it out of our podcast rotation just because it would have just dragged for us. But then we have some other shows like The Vampire Diaries, where every season up till last season was phenomenal, and last season was just really painful to watch. But because we're so dedicated, we forced our way through it.
Yeah.
And this season has been incredible, and it totally made up for it. But sometimes it's worth sticking through. But in the case of like Ravenswood, we knew it wasn't going anywhere, and sure enough, like 2 weeks after we canceled our podcast, they announced that it was canceled, and we're like, surprise. So this one I'm excited for. I will plan on covering this as long as you guys are interested in doing it. So, yeah.
I'm
up for it, definitely.
Sounds good. What do you guys want to see out of this show? Like,
I know that it's comic book based or whatever, but I want to see it go its own direction.
Mm-hmm.
In like, I mean, it's really hard because you have your other shows that go off like books and stuff, and they kind of steer away from it, and the story stays amazing.
Take The Vampire Diaries, for example.
Exactly. I would love for that to happen for this show. I mean, use the comic book stuff for now until you're done with it, and then just expand from there. Use every little trick you have to make it an amazing series. But I mean, if they just throw out the cure right away, I mean, yeah, it's just a one season, it's a one trick pony.
Right. Which we don't know for sure, but with the ratings being so good, it seems like something they want to carry over.
Yeah.
But I feel like regardless of how they want to approach the second season, I still think it's a safe bet to introduce the cure at the finale, and then if it gets picked up for a second season, that it may not have actually worked. And there's residual effects of it, and kind of dealing with that, and so they have to look for a plan B kind of thing, like plan B. So
Well, I'm wondering how this whole cure thing is going to work anyway, because especially since at the end of this episode, she gets shot. And it's like in her heart, so she's dead. I mean, you can't, she's dead.
Zombies don't regenerate, so
you're not curing a disease. She's dead. You're dead. You're bringing someone back. I mean, she's already alive, dead alive, whatever. But yeah, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
He was doing open heart surgery on her, and she's awake, and she's not feeling pain. She's talking his ear off, and he's like, "You're freaking crazy. I have forceps like 3 inches deep into your chest, and you're excited."
Yeah, I mean, but she got shot earlier in the episode too, and took a bullet, and nothing happened. She's just like, "Yep, dig it out."
She doesn't feel pain.
Yeah.
So
I mean, did it go through her heart? We don't know.
She does feel pain, but it's not her pain.
Right.
Other people,
Right.
Live vicariously through other people.
Yeah. Before I go into the synopsis for next week, you guys have anything else you want to touch on?
I don't know. I'm just intrigued. I want to know how this actress is going to pull off all this stuff that's coming at her, because, like you said, it's going to be a different personality every episode. I mean, she eats a guy's brain.
That is going to be interesting.
Yes, she eats a guy's brain.
It's going to be a guy.
She's going to sit on the couch scratching herself and eating potato chips, right?
Wait, she's already doing that.
She pretty much
Cheetos. Hot Cheetos.
Oh, yeah, it was the spicy Cheetos. Them's good.
Them's are good.
I'm not a fan. I'm so nice.
Yeah. Anyway, next week, the episode is called Brother, Can You Spare a Brain? In it, Liv, Ravi, and Clive work together to solve the mysterious death of a well-known painter. Liv finds herself consumed with passion after eating his brain and can't resist trying to seduce Major,
Her
which is
ex-fiancé.
her ex-fiance. Meanwhile, Blaine makes a surprise visit to the morgue. John Crutchmer directed the episode, and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, so it says it's 50 Shades of Psychic, so I believe there's going to be a lot of red paint involved in this episode. So
That's gonna be a thing. The whole red.
I think so.
Color.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I do too.
The other thing that I actually found that was really interesting is the artist for the original comic book, Michael Allred. He drew up all the opening credit scenes and stuff like that, all the title card kind of artwork. So he's heavily involved in this. So yeah,
it's awesome.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think that about wraps things up. So, Nikki, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Kim, aka B, where can the people find you?
Also on Twitter at HuffyPuffity, HuffyPuffity.
That is a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
You can find me down below at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM.
Do.
Ba-dum.
That is never gonna go away.
You can also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTVpodcast for some podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week. See you guys later.
Bye. I want to see the Were Terrier. That's like one thing from the comic I want to see come over.
They better put the Were Terrier in.
Yeah, they better.
He better have a red collar, too.
Arr, arr.
Because if it's not the red collar, then we're probably going to get like a red rocket or something, and I don't want that.
Ugh.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Oh.
Ugh.